Good morning, everyone, and welcome this morning to the Contractor Information Webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We're so glad you could be here. You've all been invited to join this session because your company has an active contract with the County of Santa Clara. And as you may have caught in our recent communication, the county is streamlining its procurement and payment processes to bring value to both county departments as well as you, our valued contractors. Before we begin, let's take care of a few housekeeping items. If you'd like closed captioning, please click on the Show Caption button at the bottom of the screen. This will enable text to supplement the hearing experience. And while we have a segment at the end of the webinar reserved for questions, you may have a burning question related to the topic we are on. That said, as we progress through this webinar, if you have questions for our speakers, please click on the button that reads Q&A to type your question, and we'll do our best to respond live when asked or in the Q&A segment. This effort of streamlining the process requires your participation. Next slide, please. In today's session, you will hear from county representatives who will go over the county's initiative in more detail and what is requested from each of your companies to successfully transition to this new process. Okay, let's get started. Our first speaker this morning is Ben Reyes from the Professional Services Contracting Team in the Procurement Department. Ben, thank you for joining. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Kat. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the Vendor Management Office for inviting me to speak on behalf of the Ariba implementation team. Again, my name is Ben Reyes, and I'm with the Professional Services Contracting Division at the Procurement Department. I'm also the project manager for the county's Ariba implementation project. Next slide, please, Elaine. I'll be turning off my camera now. The project is being undertaken in response to both internal and external clamor for a singular universal source of procurement and contracting information and truth. Currently, the county's data are housed in disparate legacy systems, some of which do not necessarily talk to each other. Ariba has been in place and has been in use by the Procurement Department for goods and related services, and non-professional services procurement since 2015. Ariba is wholly owned by SAP, which is also the county's legacy enterprise contract management and financial system. It is a cloud-based procure-to-pay environment which automates the contracting and purchasing lifecycle from contract creation to requisitioning, supplier catalog creation and selection to invoicing and payment. It was implemented to help the county achieve efficiencies in sourcing, stricter compliance with procurement policy, and better visibility and controls on contract spend. One of the strengths of Ariba is the different degrees of collaboration available between the county and the county vendors. For example, and this will be explained by our other team members later on in more detail, it will allow for the county to send POs and electronically to you, which you then in turn may confirm or comment on and send back. It will allow you to invoice through the system if you wish, and direct the system to pay electronically and automatically according to the payment terms in your contract. This makes the system transparent and visible at all times to both you and the contract owners and stakeholders. It is a robust system supported by county and Ariba subject matter experts. It is sustainable, eliminating the need to generate paper POs and invoices. It is a closed system allowing all transactions to happen within it and in an expeditious manner. And it is secure with the backing of the county and Ariba's parent company, SAP, which is a worldwide leader in the procurement solution field. Next slide, please. All that being said, our ultimate functional task is to migrate all of the county's contracting and procurement activity into Ariba. The mission is to collate, possess, contain, and comprehensively and accurately report on all county procurement activity and transactions in one place. For certain segments within the county, such as the hospital system, which requires its own ecosystem at the moment, The minimum is to capture all the system's activities and information and report those in Ariba. In 2015, the first of the procurement department's goods and related services contracts was uploaded into Ariba. Today, a little over a decade later, and much enhancements and changes to system, policy, and process, we are ready to begin activities that will lead to the migration of professional services, your services, activities into Ariba. The team, which involves the vendor management office and the collaboration of about 50 other subject matter experts in the county, are working tirelessly in the background to make this happen. Today is part of the very first steps in fulfilling this change. County departments are aware and will be directed very soon on succeeding tasks that concern the eventual transfer of professional services contracts into Ariba. County executive leadership is allocating technology personnel to assist in enhancements to facilitate this change. The aggressive timeline for the implementation of the system changes is in the third or fourth quarter of this year, depending on system and personal capacity. Transfer of all contracts will then be expected to rapidly deploy in first and second quarters of next year, with the hopes that all professional services contracts will have been migrated by mid next year. Again, all of these dependent on the resources of personnel and technology. Your role in this migration is critical and transformative. Vendor enablement is the first step in the Ariba contracting process, and none of the succeeding tasks towards our mission can proceed without it. Vendor enablement is also the first step for you as a county vendor to continue providing valuable services to the county. We are doing these vendor enablement activities early on in anticipation of the intense undertakings to migrate all professional service contracts to Ariba at the start of next year. At that point, only vendors who are registered and enabled in Ariba can establish or reestablish their agreements and provide services to the county. Again, it is the department and the county's ultimate goal to conduct all of its contracting and procurement pursuits in Ariba. And as is best practice in migrations of this sort, in order to drive compliance and secure success, the legacy systems will be denied to the users, and Ariba will become the sole method for conducting business for the county and with the county. So we in the Ariba team enlist you, our professional services vendor partners, and we thank you for your interest and in advance for your contribution and participation in our shared mission. That is to provide the County of Santa Clara and its constituencies with transparency, accessibility, and accountability, and ultimately to permit us all to become better stewards of public funds. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And I yield the floor back to Kat. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you, Ben. So we do have one question in the chat. I'll go ahead and take that on. Is a recording going to be sent out to us afterwards? We will be sharing a recording. It will be published on our website. So please look ahead. We have a slide. Save the website if you do not have it already. But you will also receive future communications with us with this information as well. So thank you, Ben. A few key takeaways. The county must migrate all accounts in various systems to Ariba. Your county client will transition to electronic transactions, and the first step to this transition is your creation of an account in Ariba. Now with us is Lema Aman from the Vendor Management Office to discuss your required action. Lema, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Kat. Hi, everyone. My name is Lema, and I'm from the Vendor Management Office, and I'll be working with many of the vendors here to go ahead and get you set up in Ariba. We're going to go over that process briefly. Elaine, can we get to the next slide? Thank you. So as the county is transferring over to the Ariba network, we'd like to share with our vendors the benefits of transacting with the county over the Ariba network. Just to let you guys know that with this process, there are no fees when you're transacting with the county. The Ariba account registration, if you don't already have an account, is free. And then any transactions with the county are buyer funded, so you will not be charged for those transactions. Another benefit of it is knowing the status of your invoice. So for example, if you're currently mailing your invoice to a contact, you can now track that along the way in Ariba. So once it's been submitted, has it been approved? Have the items been received in Ariba? And all of this kind of leads to the pathway of faster payments. So for example, if you submit an invoice and the department needs additional information, whether if it's a correction on the numbers inputted or if there's an attachment missing, they'll be leaving comments so you can find out why is it possibly on hold or rejected at the moment, and to correct those issues and complete the process so that at that point in time, you can see your payments that are being scheduled. And you can go to a section of Ariba where you can see your completed payments, but your scheduled payments coming up in the future. And that date will show you the day of if you have ACH set up with the county, when that deposit will happen, or if you have a check process set up with the county of when that check will be processed and then sent out. Another benefit would be tracking and reporting, where you can view all of your POs and invoices in one place. So for example, if you have one PO with multiple invoices, they're all linked together. So you can go to the PO and see the invoices you've completed thus far, or you can go to your invoices and go back to your POs and see what they're linked to. Next slide. Okay. So in the coming days and weeks, you'll be receiving an email from our vendor management mailbox, and it'll have the actions required for you to complete. That email will have a Get Started button in there. This invitation is open and shareable with your colleagues. So if you are not the person that'll be handling possibly the account setup or connection, and it is maybe an accounting team member or another project lead that'll be handling the setup, you can go ahead and forward off that email to your colleague, and they can go ahead and move forward with the process. So in that email, you can go ahead and click on the Get Started link. And when you open up the Get Started link, you'll land on an Ariba webpage, and you'll have a couple options on there. Your first option, if you have an existing Ariba account, you can click on Use Existing Ariba Account, and then that'll take you to a login page where you can go ahead and use your username and password. If you don't have an Ariba account that you would like to use, or you'd like to create a new one, you can go ahead and click on Create New Account, and then that'll take you into the registration process to set up your username and password. Once that's been completed, we'll move on to step 2. And that's going to be to populate your remittance ID. This remittance ID is a unique county assigned number to your company. It'll be provided to you in that same email with your Get Started link. So you kind of see an example on the screen right there with your step 1 and 2. There's also a tutorial provided. So there's a link in there to click and kind of do a side-by-side along with that ID number that'll be in orange on the same page. Next link, next page. Perfect. And the third step is just to receive your confirmation email. So once you've completed steps 1 and 2, on our side, we'll process that Ariba account setup and we'll send you a confirmation email. That confirmation email will have useful links to not only just our website, but also ways to take the most advantage of your Ariba account. So for example, you could set up PO notifications to have Ariba send you an email or a group. You can have a few contacts listed in there of when a new PO is submitted in Ariba. For example, if you submit an invoice, you can go ahead and turn on an alert that if there's ever a comment made for a correction that needs to be made, you can go ahead and turn on that notice, and we have the instructions on where to go to and where to add the email address of who should get notified. We also have a guide on how to invoice in Ariba. So where to locate your PO and how to process that invoice, how to add an attachment and submit that to the county. There's also guides available on how to add additional users. So for example, if you have other people who will be assisting you with receiving POs or processing invoices, or just need to view the orders, we'll have the guides on our website as well on how to add additional users to the account.
Great. Thank you so much, Lima, for that guidance. We do have a couple of questions in the chat.
Sure.
So the first, will each organization need to create one account, or can we create separate profiles for our finance and grants staff?
Sure. So the county allows one Ariba account or Ariba network ID, so one account number per tax ID. In that account, you can have multiple users, and then that goes along with access levels. So for example, if certain team members need to have access to POs and invoicing, and certain team members need to have access to, for example, sourcing or other parts of Ariba, you can go ahead and set that level, and we can always provide assistance. I'm more than happy to schedule a call with you when we get there, and I can walk you through on how to make those edits and find the best fit for your need. But it'll be one account with multiple users for your company.
Thank you. The next question, can you set up 2 bank accounts for ACH depending on the type of invoice and designate which account to pay?
Yes, so that would go through our finance department, and we loop in your contract administrator to set up. It's basically an additional remittance ID. So each remittance location. So if one is going to be account A and account B, then you'll set up an additional remittance address, and then that'll have an additional remittance ID number that you'll add to the account. But it is possible. We just have to kind of plan and set the base for it, and then go from there.
And then for anyone who missed it, we have a repeat, but can we have multiple Ariba accounts for an organization, or is it only one account?
With the county, just one account can be connected. Your organization could potentially have multiple Ariba accounts, possibly like, let's say, one for government business, one for private sector, or other ways that they're broken up. But connected to the county, the organization can only have one account connected.
Great. Who can we contact regarding updating our contact for our Ariba portal account?
Sure. We'll share the vendor management email box, and then go ahead and message us in there and provide us details like your Ariba account number, contact information, and we'll follow up with you to assist you on that transition.
Great. And have the invite emails been sent out? A portion of them.
A portion of them, yes. So certain vendors already have existing Ariba accounts that our Ariba support team have identified. So they've received letters, but the majority will be sent out in the coming days and weeks.
Great. And the next one, also related, sorry if I missed it, when will the registration email be sent?
In the next coming days and weeks. Yeah, we'll get that out to you guys.
Okay. Do we need separate account for each department of SCC or just one account?
Just one account. And then the POs will be labeled within, so basically on our side, each department will submit their POs. The recipient or like the delivery location will be specified on that PO. So you'll just need one account, and the PO will have the details of the purchasing department.
Great. And would every user be able to view all contracts?
As long as it's not blocked, it would mainly depend on their access level. But at the bare minimum, the person who creates the Ariba account is the Ariba account administrator, and they would have full view of it.
Great. There's one question here I'll take. Will this eliminate sending invoices to the PM for approval? And that will depend on the process of approval directed by your client department. Each of them will update their processes and approval structure based on what is allowable within Ariba. So you'll have to connect with them, and there will be more communication on that in the future. Is there a limit for users?
No, not that I know of. I've seen an account with a couple hundred on there recently, so no, we should be okay on that.
Will there be a special setup for out-of-county fee for service providers? Not exactly sure I fully understand that question, but in regards to fees, something that Lema did mention is that this is a buyer-funded account, meaning that the county is paying the fees for every contractor that sets up its account to transact with the county on the Ariba network. If you'd like to tweak your question a little bit, we are happy to address it. Yep. Next question. We have received multiple emails pressuring us to pay by virtual card. Would we be able to continue with ACH, or is virtual card the only option? Virtual card is, yeah, it may not be Ariba. And so if you'd like to reach out to us separately, please reach out to us or share the communication that you have between your client department and yourself, and then we will see if we can assist with that. Next question. If we set up an Ariba account during the SCC rollout a couple years ago, do you recommend continuing using that one or starting over again?
No, if you have an account set up and you have access to that account and the logins, if that person is still with the company, we're more than happy to move forward with that account. And you can use the same logins. If you need assistance with retrieving it, there's always the option to click on forget password or forget username and follow through the process. And if you need some help, go ahead and email us at vendor management and we can walk you through that.
Great. And the final question we have here, can we add or remove users on our own on the Ariba portal, or do we need to reach out to the county?
No, the guide will also include information about how to not only just add, but edit and delete users on there as well. So if you need to edit either their access or just delete the user, the Ariba account administrator has full access to do that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lema, for that
Yeah.
guidance. And just a reminder, on the presentation, there are 3 steps to completion. So be on the lookout for an email from us with instructions on next steps. So one closing remark on next steps, please mark your calendars. Next slide, please. We are asking you all to set up your accounts by March 31st. Next slide. That date is quickly approaching, so please reach out if you need assistance to set up your account. We will be available to schedule a call, send a Teams link to share screens, and walk you through the process. At a later date, closer to our go live, we will reach out to your companies again with training details, and the future trainings will go over the use of Ariba in detail. For now, the first step is creating the account, and that allows us to do several things on the back end to set this all up for the ultimate transition in a few months. So as we open the door open the floor for questions, we want to inform you that we will be available to answer any questions beyond today. So please take note of this email and email us any questions that you have along the way as you create your account or as you populate your remittance ID. So let's go ahead and open the floor for questions again. And maybe these are split questions. If we're receiving payment via ACH from Santa Clara County, do we have to do anything to update ACH form? No, there are no changes. Anything that you have already set up does not require a change. You will need to populate your remittance ID that comes across in that email into your account in order for there not to be any delay. If we already have an Ariba account, is there anything that needs to be done at this time? If you have an Ariba account, no, there is nothing that needs to be done at this time other than you making sure you're able to log in and you have that information readily available. But something to note, if you receive a communication from us, you may have an Ariba account, but you may not be connected to the County of Santa Clara. There are a lot of our contractors who are on the Ariba network transacting with other entities, but they haven't connected to us yet. So you will still need to complete the steps, which are the click on the Get Started link to accept the trading relationship specifically with the County of Santa Clara. So if you have an account, you're going to log in with your existing credentials through the Get Started link. That will connect you to us. And then you will populate your remittance ID to make sure you now have that relationship established with the County of Santa Clara. And who is the invite being sent to? That would be you, Cassie. All the folks who had the email sent to them for this event are the ones that will be receiving the emails for establishing the account. So if you are not the correct person, When you receive the email, please forward it on to your colleague that is the appropriate resource to set up the account. Feel free to include us on the chain. You will see our respective emails on there. Please feel free to include us so we know who to follow up with, and we will update our information so we follow up with the correct party. Okay, it looks like we have addressed all questions. Oh, we have one more. Did we receive the next live date? If this question is the go live date, that has not been emailed out yet. But critical dates were today to hear more about this county initiative. The next critical date is Tuesday, March 31st to have the account created by, and then future communications will include the county's go live. Okay, I did not get the original email to this info session. I was given by a SCC county member. How do I get in your list? I have contracts with SCC. Please email the email that you see there and share your company information, and we will identify who from your company received it. If you indeed have an active contract with the county, then an email did go out to whoever is listed under the account. Will this training be sent to the attendees? No, it will not be sent to the attendees. It will be published on our website. Okay, so if there are no more questions, we'll go ahead. Oh, we have one more. Sorry if I missed this earlier. When will be information and training materials will be shared? Oh, so none of the content will be emailed out. It will be published on our website, and we will refer to our website in future communications that you receive from us. We don't have a way of telling who attended the session. We didn't include a registration. We try to make this easy for you with a direct link. So this content will just be published on the web. In terms of what to take to your team, I would say the most critical is to be on the lookout for a communication with the next steps and complete those steps by Tuesday, March 31st. Future communications will include additional information. And another question, if we need additional support on how to use Ariba and submit invoices, yes, that information will be made available. We do have training material published on the website. So you see the sccprc.org on the web right now, or on the screen right now. We have content published there, and there will be future Ariba trainings. So be on the lookout for those communications. Okay, it looks like we have addressed all questions this morning. If we have no other questions, just a reminder, please email us if you have questions along the way. We are happy to schedule time with you and walk you through the process. Populating your remittance ID does have a step-by-step tutorial attached to it, but we are happy to join on a call with you. It can be a little tricky. If you have an existing Ariba account, you still need to have a relationship with the county. So you still have to click the Get Started link. And instead of creating a new account, you're going to use existing account, and you log in with your existing credentials. And then you populate your remittance ID. Thank you, Maria. We'll give maybe 1 or 2 more minutes for questions. If you've joined us this morning and have no questions, thank you so much for joining us. You are welcome to exit the call as you need to. We'll stay on the line for an additional couple of minutes in case a few questions come in. We have another question. Is the remittance ID the same as the ANID? No, it is not. The remittance ID is a unique county assigned number, and the ANID is the Ariba Network ID issued through Ariba. Okay, again, thank you all for joining us this morning. If you have any questions, please email vendor management. Oh, 2 more questions. Will the SAP login work with Ariba? Ariba is owned by SAP, so I'm not sure which SAP login you are referring to, Chris. But if you have an email, you may have SAP on it, and that may be the login that you'll need to use. You'll have to check in with your team and look at the branding that's on the page. Another question, is Ariba for payments to the county or money received from the county or both? Ariba will be the primary system that we use. How our systems are connected are on the back end are not exactly, I guess it's not exactly relevant for today. You're only going to be working with Ariba. We still use SAP separately as our financial tool, but what you will be working with is Ariba alone. Next question, you may have answered this already. Will this recording be shared? No, it will not be shared individually with each of you, but it will be published on our website. Next question, if we have an Ariba account that was created during the pandemic, is it still the same account we will use? We are not sure if we have a remittance ID, but we have the ANID. Thank you, Hazel. If you have an ANID and you can log into your account, you will still need to connect to the County of Santa Clara. When you receive our email, you'll need to click the Get Started link, and you'll have to choose the option to use an existing account. Use your login for the ANID that you have and connect with the county that way, and then you'll populate your remittance ID. If you have any questions when you get to that step, please feel free to reach out to us. Okay, our county team will stay on for about 4 more minutes should a question come up. And thank you all for joining us again. We appreciate you all prioritizing this transition. Thank you, Kristen. Looks like we have another question. We are a current vendor. Is the remittance ID something we already have been issued, or will the county provide a new one? If you are a current vendor, we have assigned a remittance ID. You do not have a copy of that right now, but you will receive it when we send you the trading relationship email. So the one that Lema displayed where it has the Get Started link, right above that, you will have your unique assigned remittance ID. So please be sure to populate that into your Ariba account when you create it.